Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the C Morning Show. Now, if you're a basketball fan, then you likely have been following the journey of the two somewhat unexpected teams currently playing in the NBA Finals. The #1 seeded Denver Nuggets stormed into the finals, taking down several Hall of Famers along the way in LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Kevin Durant. Meanwhile, they are facing a team that has defied all odds in the Miami Heat, who entered the playoffs as the 8th seed in the East and disposed of the top-seeded Milwaukee Bucks and last year's finalists Boston Celtics.
And the Nuggets took a 1-0 series lead after soundly defeating the Heat 104-93 during Game 1, with Game 2 right now currently in the second quarter in Denver. And to help us break down what happened in Game 1 and also look ahead to the remainder of the series, joining us in the studio is Ranaditya, Alief, NBA analysis and a host of Indonesia's MVP or Most Valuable podcast, Box Out Indonesia.
What up, what up? Good morning, Rana.
What up, my good man?
What up? Thank you for being here, by the way.
For sure,
On this Monday morning. I know you're looking forward to Game 2 right now.
Right.
This is quarter 2.
Yeah.
We got to take a short break from watching the game.
we are.
About it.
We have all our
Right
phones
here.
on, man, right now.
So, before we preview the remainder of the series, let's first discuss each team's best player. At the end of the series, one thing will be made certain. Either Nikola Jokic will legitimize his back-to-back MVP status, or Mr. Himmy Buckets will finally enter the conversation as one of the game's greatest. So what do you think, Ben? Whom is the title more important for, Joker or Jimmy?
Well, I think the vanilla answer would be to say Joker, right?
Yeah.
Back-to-back MVPs. So next season, people, the casual, so to speak, don't stop questioning him. He needs that chip. But I'm actually going to go for Jimmy Butler.
Ooh.
Underdog story, carrying the 8th seed to get the first 8 team to win the title. And that really makes sense because now we think about Jimmy Butler as the guy in the 4th, the guy who takes over in the playoffs, but ultimately falls short to LeBron. I think this will ascend him to another echelon and also help the Heat sort of the combination of what they call the Heat culture.
And I think the Heat culture was so close in 2020. They did make it, losing to LeBron and Anthony Davis. But again, this would take them next level.
The hat is right there to show the proof, by the way. There.
But by the way, we have 2 teams who lost in the previous round.
Adam Silver's NBA Finals.
The dream final. So obviously, a chip would add to either one of their legacies. We do know that Game 2, as Caroline mentioned, tipped off at about 7 a.m. this morning, Jakarta time. In Game 1, the Nuggets seemingly dismantled the Heat from all aspects, offense, defense. Not only do they have no answer for the Joker, the Heat are undermanned, they are under-talented, and right now under a lot of pressure, not to mention fatigue coming off a 7 brutal game series against the Boston Celtics. What has happened to Jimmy Butler in Game 1, and what can the Heat do to still make this a series?
Well, I think looking back at Game 1, I think it really comes down to execution.
Okay.
The Miami Heat missed a lot of open shots, which they have made currently right now in Game 2. And I think they allowed in transition defense, they allowed bad matchups for Aaron Gordon. Obviously, it's been adjusted, I think, by Coach Spo adding Kevin Love into the starting lineup.
We knew we were going to see some more Kevin Love.
Right?
Yep.
But at the end of the day, just the talent level, I think, right now. I mean, Denver, you know how we talk about the patented Golden State run?
Yes.
Where they go on this en fuego, like scoring 20 points in a row,
Yes.
3-pointers. I think Denver is the other team which can do that now in the NBA. And this is a real uphill battle for the Miami Heat. And that also is why I think Jimmy Butler's legend will grow if he can some way engineer his team out of this.
Or if you can at least push it to a Game 6 or 7.
Yeah, and you know what? There's also that X factor Tyler Hero is supposed to be, joining in, especially for the finals. We're not going to talk about his fashion senses anymore right now, guys. That's already been passed. Yeah. But what do you think? Is he going to be that X factor that's going to win them the finals?
Well, to make it competitive, maybe. I think right now they're down pretty big in Game 2. He was already in practicing shooting in the shoot-around for the game in Game 2. I think he's going to play a factor in Game 3. He's going to give some microwave offense. But then again, I don't want to sound like the harbinger of bad news for the Miami Heat. He's another player who can be attacked on defense.
Correct.
Yeah.
And the thing about the Denver Nuggets is that I don't think that their defense, especially in the regular season, was that great. But you look at that team, it's long. It has all of the recipes needed to slow down a small team like the Miami Heat. But I think he will play a factor, but I don't think, especially coming back from injury, it will be that significant.
And he has to do it. I mean, that's expecting a lot. He hasn't played since game one of the
Yeah,
first
getting
round.
back into that rhythm. I think Draymond Green mentioned about, okay, you could bring him back, but will that disrupt the rhythm that the players like Max Truss, for example, is actually playing pretty well?
He's benefiting from not having.
Yeah, so will that disrupt it? So it's really about, well, Coach Spo knows this, but it's really about the timing when exactly to insert him in game 3.
And by the way, we're showing you some highlights as well. This has been taking place in the first quarter of this morning's game, where we saw Miami did, as you mentioned, make some adjustments. They jumped out to almost a 10-point lead, but in the second quarter now we see that Denver has taken that lead back.
Far off,
Far off. So what do you think Coach Spo will do? I mean, the bench is one of the problems that Miami Heat had in game 1, right?
Right. I mean, some of the players, like Max Truss, is already playing better. I mean, he's tried to match size with size, going with Kevin Love, having him cheat off of Aaron Gordon.
Yep.
But if this continues, the current scoreline, I think he's going to mix it up. When it comes to stopping Denver, although it's very hard to stop Jokic and Murray, you usually have to choose, right?
Yeah.
Do you want Jokic to score or do you want him to pass? I believe it's better if he scores, because he had that game where he had like 50 against the Phoenix Suns, but they lost. So they have to force him to sort of become a scorer, because when he facilitates, he gets the other players into rhythm, and that's where Denver becomes more than the sum of its parts. So I think, and I think, let's see what kind of adjustments he makes in the third quarter of this game. I would expect maybe more minutes for Highsmith. Probably what he did in game 1, he picked up Jamal Murray full court and played a bit of zone. But the timing of the zone will be important, because actually Denver Nuggets are the best team in the regular season playing against the zone. You have Jokic, the defense collapses on the zone, he goes into the dunker spot, and then he just dishes out. So I think timing, when do I play zone, when do I mix it up, is going to be very key in how they can make their adjustments, sort of slow down Nuggets. I don't see it working completely,
stop them completely,
right? But just turn it into a dogfight. Because when it's a dogfight, then that's when Jimmy Butler can cook.
Yeah, and then talking about Miami's own defense, we have seen it work very well throughout the playoffs. I'm surprised that it's somewhat still successful against Denver.
NBA players, yeah.
Yes, and also, you know you're in trouble when you have to rely on Haywood Highsmith to your Jokic stopper right there. So it wasn't all bad for Miami in game 1. During midway through the third, I believe, or start of the fourth, they had a bit of a run. There was some non-Jokic minutes there. My guy, Kyle Lowry, the greatest Raptor of all time, did his part, a couple of back-to-back threes. They pulled within 10 or 11, but it was only then where ultimately Denver pulled away. But what did you see in that stretch that worked for Denver that perhaps they could work off of to continue improving?
You mean for the Miami Heat? Well, I think they played a bit faster.
Okay.
I think they went into their actions, quick offense by Kyle Lowry. They got back faster, and then they mixed it with that zone defense. I think instead of a 2-3 zone, they went to a 2-1-2.
Yeah.
But I did not think that was I mean, okay, Denver struggled a bit, but just looking at the film, I thought that Jokic went into the right spots. He was dishing as usual, and it was just make or miss. So, but I think, using zone as a rhythm disruptor, especially in those non-Jokic minutes, will be key. And I think that's something in this game, Denver and Miami will replicate, and I see that being added, sprinkled here and there in the following games. Hopefully more than if there's a game 5. Hopefully, please make into a long series.
They have a weird
long series.
by the way. They have this zone defense where sometimes it doesn't look like a zone defense at all. It almost looks like they're playing man-to-man.
True.
And hopefully they're able to figure out the right formula there, when to use it and when not to.
And I think I've been talking to you dudes also that it seems that for Nuggets right now, especially coming to the finals, they have the confidence there. They know their dominance and whatnot. They were the 1 seed in the regular season. It seems like they're playing right now in the finals. It's like they're playing in the park. In that level of confidence.
It's like a college team playing a high school team.
Exactly.
Size-wise, skill-wise,
Exactly. When you see a lot of great duos, especially in the league itself, you have LeBron and AD, and now we have you have Jokic and also Murray, and we're going to talk about them right now, where Murray finished with 26 points and 10 assists, going 50% from the field. Milan Jokic had another now routine triple-double with 27, 14, and 10. So why do you think these two is really dominant right now in the league?
there's no two other duo in the league which is this complete offensively.
Right.
They can score on all three levels, in the paint, in the mid-range, from beyond the arc. They can switch roles seamlessly. And I think JJ Redick mentioned this on his podcast. Their link-up is so intuitive, and they can run so many actions. So imagine Jamal Murray is like a supercomputer, and Nikola Jokic is a 7-foot black hole antimatter particle collider.
Okay.
Right? There's just so many things you can run off of that.
Right.
Yeah, they're like a super juiced up, maxed up version of Karl Malone and John Stockton.
Wow.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And one doesn't have to play with each other like in the first quarter.
Well,
I mean, Jokic was out for like a couple minutes, and Murray is just doing what he does best.
That's the thing, right? When we look for duos, a lot of times we're too focused on talent. Like, oh, you've got LeBron, you've got AD, what amazing skill sets.
Yeah.
But what JJ Redick was talking about was how each skill set complements the other.
Right.
One can do what the other can't very well.
Right.
See what I mean? So
Yeah.
they complete each other that way.
And so many actions, pick
Yeah.
and roll, handoff.
Yeah.
Like there's an infinite number of combinations they can do, and you factor the fact that both are very smart,
Yes.
especially Jokic. I mean, Jokic, much has been said about his lack of athleticism,
Yeah.
but his brain, he has so many counter punches. I mean, LeBron mentioned it, right?
Yeah.
He said that people see the stats.
Yeah.
I see this.
Yeah.
I see this, and that is what he's doing at the highest level of basketball.
LeBron and him
One
are the
smarter than
Spider-Man
Right.
pointing
Yeah.
at each other.
Yeah.
No, you're smart.
You know,
Yeah.
you know what, guys? A great recipe for a great marriage. It's right there. It's right there playing.
Complement each other. That's right.
So just before you went in the studio yesterday, Paul gave me a clip of actually Nikola Jokic. It's like he's playing chess. I think we have the clip in the studio.
Yeah.
We can show
P
it
was
right now.
sending it to everybody.
Yeah, he's sending it to everybody.
Let's have a look at it first.
have a look.
I'm sure
Let's
you've
have a
seen it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, take us through it, Ralphie.
So there's this clip. We're having a look at it with just under 8 minutes to go in the fourth. Miami was making a push to get the lead to single digits. Jokic was at the line. He noticed Lowry was giving out signals to the bench, or receiving signal from the bench between his first and second free throws. He signaled his teammates with a pistol
Right.
signed with his hands.
Right.
And then using live ball play, the Nuggets adjust and force the Heat into a crucial turnover.
Right.
So what do you think of this? They were going for a pistol offense, like hurry up
Right.
offense, right?
Well, this is what people usually say of LeBron, right? He plays ahead of the game. So this is what he does. I've been actually seeing a few reactions to this. I think a lot of people are impressed. I think Dame Lillard also retweeted that. Yeah, that's really, but also, he's not exactly being discreet, right?
No.
So I'm like, how come Miami can
It's like, yeah, he saw
counteract
it.
that, you
Like,
know?
do something.
Or in baseball, what they would do is they would throw out fake play calls.
fake plays? Yeah.
And they have the real play calls, so that's why the baseball signals are so mixed
Okay.
up. But in this one, it was very clearly
right there.
he's repeating exactly
Right.
what Kyle Lowry
Or
did.
maybe Miami could be overthinking, like, oh, he saw the gun, like, oh, maybe this is a trick, but
Yeah. But now you can attest to this as well, Caroline, because you're a Laker fan. We know that LeBron James, with his basketball IQ, has that advantage because he doesn't have to communicate with the
Yes.
coach.
Right.
And Coach Malone has actually said having Jokic is like having LeBron. It's like having a coach on the
Yeah.
floor. How much of an advantage was it? Coach Spo is the best in the game right now, arguably. How much of an advantage is it to have a so-called coach on the floor at the same time?
Well, I think it just gives a team, especially a team that has been together for a pretty long time now in NBA standards, it just gives them more diversity and more flexibility, I think, right? I mean, you become harder to stop when you can improvise, right? And he's like Joey Alexander, you know? Like he's just improvising and making the counter punch to the counter punch. So like it's like doing stuff on the fly, but
Very efficient.
on a very intelligent level. So I think it is a huge advantage when you have these type of cerebral players, because at the end of the day, a coach can only make his adjustment from the sideline, right? So in-game adjustments happen from outside of the court.
Yeah.
Now this happens inside the court, and if you're an opposing team and you don't have a player of that kind of caliber, like, are you equipped to sort of react on the fly? So I think that's where the advantage is.
All right, now we also talk about advantages outside of Jokic and Murray. You talked about the length of their role players, how they are just knockdown shooters. But role players play good at home. And this
Right.
series will shift back to Miami after this game for games 3 and 4. Are you expecting a more level playing field in regards to the rest of them, the KCPs, the MPJs? Why is everyone using abbreviations?
I
these days?
know.
The Bruce Brown.
Like in the division and
The BB. let's
Yeah.
say.
What do you think Miami's bench players will then step up better as they did at home throughout the series, throughout the playoffs as well?
Well, I mean, common knowledge, I do expect a slight dip. But I've seen enough of the Nuggets playing away to see the types. I mean, I'm sorry, Caroline, we do remember what Bruce Brown did to
In LA.
D'Lo, right?
Yeah.
So I would expect some of that. But the thing is, even if their bench production steps down, I still expect them to play decently in terms of defense.
Oh, right. Good
Right.
point.
And I think, I mean, the MPJs, okay, maybe MPJ, although he has grown as a defender.
Better.
I think as long as they keep up the effort level, I think it wouldn't be something that I would be overly concerned of, actually.
Let Jokic and Murray make up the rest of the numbers.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that one, right? But what's your prediction, guys, for the finals itself? I mean, I want to ask for Ron.
Okay, well, let's talk about game 2 first. Right? What do you guys think? Because let's give them the updated score.
I'm going to say it's going to
It's
be
on a break
Denver.
right now.
Yeah, but it's like,
It's a
did
live
you
update.
see a second quarter?
Are we at halftime right now?
What's the score right now?
Let me look at it. It's 51-57 for Denver, so Denver's leading by 6.
Miami
at
caught
the
up a
half.
bit.
It's halftime.
Okay.
So it's been fairly even so far,
Right.
game 2. So let's get your game 2 predictions first, and then the series predictions.
Okay, let's start from.
Yeah, I'm going to
Let's
go with the
start
number.
from
Yeah.
Let's go.
Well, it's closer now. And, Miami are a team that can make adjustments in the third quarter. But I've seen enough close games from Denver
Yeah.
where it seems like the opposing team has caught up and then they just don't.
Remember they were down
Yeah.
12 against
Yeah.
the Jazz, was it? And they
They just caught up. And I think Denver, they don't want to play with their food.
Yeah.
So I think they're going to get game 2. My prediction is still a Denver win. Is this also the prediction for the series? I think it's going to Denver in 5, but I hope it goes 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Caroline?
Of course, Denver.
Denver today and Denver for the series.
Yes.
In-
In 5.
In 5.
In 5.
Mine too. I mean, Jamal Murray's killing it out there. He's
Yeah.
back from his ACL surgery, and he's been balling. I mean, not a lot of players come back from an ACL surgery.
Yeah.
Yeah, you too.
Yeah.
Wow, you're the
Yeah.
Jamal Murray of the very complimentary.
Why I love also Denver and also Jokic is just because I think he's very regular person. He's like a common man. You know, when he was asked in the conference, do you think basketball is that important? He's like, no, I'm doing basketball because, because I love my family. And I love that when you're not too aggressive and you don't want to be the dominant, I don't want to be the star power. That's where you got your star. And that's why I love him so much. But since you guys are here, another question. What do you guys think about Ja Morant?
Ooh.
Sorry, out of shift right now, but since you have the three of you guys here,
Someone gave out a
what do you
statement
guys think
yesterday
about Ja?
Ja Morant within the next 5 years would be in serious trouble.
Well, I don't know the truth
Come
to
on.
that, and I hope certainly not. But my bigger question is, Ja Morant is in a lot of deep problems. Where is T.
Yeah.
Morant? Where is his father?
Yeah.
I
Well,
mean,
he's always there during
Yeah.
the game.
right.
Where is he
So
right
where is he right now?
Correct,
I
good
mean,
point.
that's what I'm asking. Like, how could you allow?
What would the sanction be? I mean, in your thoughts,
Well,
Ron,
if you want to look at the Gilbert
I didn't see
Arenas thing, that was really made to set an example. We did have
Yeah.
a different commissioner at the time. It was Adam Silver. It wasn't Adam Silver. It was David Stern.
It was more Stern.
Wanted to come down hard. He was very stern, as per his name, and obviously it was a season thing, and it pretty much ended his career.
He
Let's
did.
hope that the same thing doesn't happen for Ja. I saw a great meme, by the way, of the
What meme?
of the Grizzlies players running out of the tunnel, and there was a metal detector.
he has a new nickname right now, Ja Wick.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh,
Didn't
from
we see him
John
playing?
Wick.
But
All
again,
right.
Yes,
Adam
here.
Silver will be making his announcement
After the finals, because
Just
they
so
want
not
to
predict.
focus.
And let me
Yes.
just throw in my prediction. I had said if the Heat can steal one game of the first two, it could go to 6. But I will go back to the fact that in quarter 1 of this game, the Heat came out and played amazing. And they're only leading it, and they're down 6. So they were only leading it by a few at that time. So again, I'm going to go with Denver in game 2. I'll say Denver in 5 as well. I believe Miami will be strong enough to take one at home.
All right, all in for Denver.
Yeah.
We're all Nuggets here.
All
We got a
Nuggets.
4-pack.
In fact, right here.
I'm going to be always a Lakers fan. I'm not a seasonal fan, but of course, Western's going to be my team. Yeah.
Well, it's always fun to talk about the game that we love so much here. This is the only time all of us three are out here with Rana during an interview.
If we have more time, like a 1 hour show, there's so much more things that we can rabble about this
the
season.
GOAT conversation.
Yeah, we can talk about anything if we want, but I think we are running out of time,
Yeah,
so that wraps it up. Rana, thank you so
Rana.
much for being here, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Now we're up for a short break. In the meantime, don't forget to follow our social media accounts if you haven't already. We're on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. It's all down here at See Today News. Stay tuned. We'll be back.